Right after my wife lost her memory. Her long-lost first love hopped on the first flight back home. He cocked an eyebrow at me. Smug as could be. Thanks for looking after Olivia these past 3 years. He said. Now you can get the hell out. I'd already resigned myself to my fate and was about to grab my things and leave when my wife snatched my wrist tight. Are you actually stupid? She said. He tells you to leave and you're just gonna do it. I stared at Olivia blankly. Confused. Isn't that how it always goes in those short dramas? Olivia huffed a laugh. Half exasperated. Then spun around to fix Ethan with an icy glare. What gives you the right to order my husband around? You're the one who should leave. I have amnesia. Not a broken marriage. I'm still his wife. Olivia and I had been married 3 years when a car accident wiped her memory clean. She couldn't remember a single thing about our life together only the years before she turned 18. I huffed a dry laugh to myself. This was straight out of a cheap short drama. And in stories like this, I was the bitter, disposable second male lead. The guy who always ends up alone and humiliated. On the 3rd day of Olivia's hospital stay, her childhood sweetheart, her one that got away, came barreling back into town. His name was Ethan. Tall, handsome, ripped. Right now he was staring me down like he'd already won. The room full of Olivia's friends and family went dead quiet. Everyone exchanging awkward glances. Just about everyone here knew about their history. I knew it too. If Ethan hadn't left Olivia to study abroad all those years ago, I never would have stood a chance. People said she'd even tried to kill herself over him back then. That's how deeply they'd loved each other. Or so the story went. So with him standing there, I had zero fight in me. We'd been married 3 years. And Olivia had always been cold and distant. There was no great love between us. Our marriage had been an arrangement. A business deal between our families. I had nothing to hold her with. Nothing to make her stay. Ethan held my gaze. Tone mocking. Liam. Thanks for taking care of her all these years. But I'm back now. You can leave. I glanced at the arrogant man in front of me. Then at the confused, dazed woman in the hospital bed. I'd accepted my fate. I turned to grab the few clothes I'd brought for my hospital stay. Then Olivia scrambled out of bed and grabbed my hand. Voice urgent. Liam. What are you doing? Where are you going? I said nothing. Great. I thought. Was she about to humiliate me too? I was already leaving without a fight. What more did she want? When I didn't answer, she grew even more frantic. Are you deaf? He tells you to go and you just listen. I lifted my eyes to hers. Helpless. Isn't that how the dramas go? What? Did I look like an idiot? Sticking around as the villainous second male lead just to sit through some groveling chasing her husband back plot later. Olivia laughed out loud at that. She turned back to Ethan. Voice sharp as ice. Who do you think you are? Talking to my husband like that? You don't get to tell him what to do. You're the one who needs to leave. I froze. Wait. What? This wasn't following the script? Was I not the bad guy here? Olivia noticed me zoning out. She took my hand and pressed it to her cheek. Sounding half annoyed. I forgot my past. Okay. I didn't forget I'm married. Ethan finally snapped out of his shock. He stared at her. Utterly bewildered. Liv. What's wrong with you? Why are you talking to me like this? He looked hurt. Helpless. Like a kicked puppy. But Olivia didn't even spare him a glance. She just looked at me. All soft and exasperated. The rest of the room stared at Ethan. Amused and mocking. He couldn't stand the humiliation. He shot me one venomous glare. Then stormed out. Slamming the door behind him. The second he was gone, Olivia marched right over to the door. I figured she was going to chase after him. Of course. I was still just a side character in their little love story. The joke was on me. Instead, she just pulled the slam door open again. Frowning. Rude. Slamming doors like that. No manners at all. She turned back to the room full of people. Thanks everyone for coming to see me. But I need to rest now. You can all head out. Everyone exchanged looks. Then filed out chuckling. I hung my head and left last of all. I'd just brushed past her when she grabbed me again. Hard. Hey. Where do you think you're going? I gave her a bitter smile. You told everyone to leave. I know you spared me the embarrassment in front of everyone. And I appreciate it. I'll go home and draw up the divorce papers. Whenever you're ready. We can go sign them. Olivia rolled her eyes so hard I thought they'd get stuck. Are you always this dramatic? Who said anything about divorce? I stared at her. Stunned. Wait. I wasn't the punchline. She pulled me over to the bed. She lay back. But she never let go of my hand. I'm sorry I forgot you. I really am. She said softly. But I know myself. My memory might be stuck at 18. But I know I would never marry someone I didn't love. If my husband is you and not Ethan, then that means I fell for you later. He's just the past. So stop making up stories in your head. A wife stands up for her husband. Always. No exceptions. She looked at me. Warm and gentle. I looked up at her. Stunned. I'd always known she was beautiful. But I'd never realized how solid and good she was at her core. Gone was the ruthless CEO. The cold, distant woman I'd lived with for 3 years. Right now. Her eyes were only for me. My chest felt warm. And my eyes stung. Why are you crying? She sat up quickly. Worried. I pulled her into a tight hug instead. Snot running and all. Thank God. I still got to live the rich husband life. While Olivia was in the hospital. She begged me every day to tell her stories about us. She was fascinated by our life together. I told her everything. Down to the smallest details. And she listened like it was the best story she'd ever heard. The truth was, I'd met Olivia a full year after she and Ethan had broken up. I'd seen her at a cocktail party. And it had been pretty much lust at first sight. I'd been hooked the second I laid eyes on her. Back then. The Bennett family was looking for a son-in-law for an arranged marriage. Most wealthy families thought it beneath them. And the ones who were willing weren't good enough for the Bennetts. My family was somewhere in the middle. Our company was on the brink of bankruptcy. Drowning in debt. My dad basically volunteered me to marry into the Bennett family to save our fortune. It worked out perfectly for me. Of course. Still. I'd put on a whole tragic, noble act for my dad. Fine. But I want an extra 20% of the company's shares when you divide the estate. He'd agreed instantly. After we got married. I was the picture of a devoted husband. I did everything I could to win her over. To court her properly. Olivia was brilliant. Beautiful. And totally unreadably an ice queen through and through. She was the only child of the Bennett family. And the current CEO of Bennett Corp. She was exactly the kind of female lead you'd see in a drama. Calm. Sharp. Ruthless in business. I was obsessed. After 3 whole years of steady, relentless effort, things had finally started to soften between us. That's why Ethan's arrival had stung so bad. I really liked Olivia. I'd worked so hard. And she'd finally started looking at me like she cared. Like she was fond of me. I'd been so ready to slink away and let them have their happy reunion. Just to save myself the heartbreak. I'd never expected her to throw the whole script out the window. Even after everything. I still worried. Her memory was stuck at 18. After all. Back then. She and Ethan were still together. Right. And she had zero memory of me. I was basically a stranger to her. All she knew about me was what I'd told her these past few days. The day she was discharged happened to be our 3rd wedding anniversary. In years past. I'd always gone all out planning surprises for her. And she'd always reacted with polite, distant appreciation. This time. I wanted something low-key. I offered to cook a nice dinner at home. To my surprise. She lit up and said yes immediately. That night, we sat down at the dining table. I opened a bottle of red wine. We clinked glasses and smiled. Each taking a sip. We just picked up our forks when Olivia's phone buzzed. She frowned and picked it up. I glanced over and saw the caller ID. Ethan. He hadn't shown his face since he'd stormed out of the hospital that day. From my thousands of hours of short drama viewing, I knew exactly what he was doing. He was waiting for Olivia to chase after him. To coddle him. Classic manipulative move. Playing hard to get to yank her chain. Olivia answered with a furrowed brow. Hello. What is it? Ethan's voice came through. Small and wounded. Liv, I got hit by a car. It hurt so bad. I kept right on eating my crab legs. Pretending I hadn't heard a thing. I had no idea what she'd do. But I really didn't want her to go see him. It was our anniversary. For Christ's sake. And if he was hurt, shouldn't he be calling a doctor? Not her. But from my extensive short drama expertise. I knew how this went. Olivia would panic. drop everything, and rush out to him. If I tried to stop her, I'd be the petty, cold-hearted husband holding her back. I opened my mouth to say, "You should go." But Olivia spoke first. "Did you call an ambulance?" "Not yet." He whimpered. "I'm so scared. It hurts so bad. Am I gonna die?" "Liv. Please. Can you come get me?" Olivia hung up immediately and stood up. There it is, I thought. Straight out of the dramas. I watched her rise to her feet, fully expecting her to grab her keys and bolt out the door to her childhood sweetheart's side. A minute passed. She didn't leave. Instead, I heard her on the phone with emergency services. Then with the police. I blinked. Wait. What? She'd pulled a whole power move and left Ethan hanging. Had I been watching too many dramas? Was this just how normal people acted? No sooner had she hung up than Ethan called again. "Save your energy," she said flatly. "I called an ambulance and the police. They'll be there soon." Ethan sounded even more hurt. On the verge of tears now. "Liv, aren't you gonna come?" "Nope," she said. Like it was the most obvious thing in the world. "I'm not a doctor. I wouldn't be any help. Leave it to the professionals." But I'm scared. I think I'm dying." He was actually crying now. I braced myself. Surely she'd cave now. Her answer shocked me all over again. "I'm not comin'. Gee. My last accident left me with issues. Seeing crash sites and hospitals makes me sick now. You wouldn't make a girl who just got out of the hospital go back to that awful place. Would you?" Bad luck. On the other end of the line. Ethan's crying cut off abruptly. I'd figured his accident must be pretty bad. What with all the screaming and crying about dying. The next day, he showed up at our door with a tiny band-aid on his forehead and a gauze wrap around one wrist. The doorbell rang. Loud and frantic. I opened it. And there stood Ethan. All dressed up in a nice suit. I almost didn't recognize him. When he saw it was me, his kick puppy face vanished instantly. He puffed up. Arrogant as ever. Nose practically in the air. "What are you doing at Liv's place?" He sneered. Had he lost his brain studying abroad? Last I checked. I said dryly. "I'm the man of this house. Where else would I be? Under your car." He flinched. Then snapped. "Get out of my way. I need to see Liv." Yeah. Right. If Olivia was gonna stand her ground. So was I. I wasn't about to look weak. I scoffed and slammed the door right in his face. Just then, Olivia came downstairs. Fresh out of the shower. She heard the noise. Walked over. And opened the door to find a furious Ethan on the porch. I didn't stick around. I went straight to the kitchen to make breakfast. From the kitchen, I could hear Ethan's whining drifting through the house. "Liv. I'm so sorry. I never should have broken up with you to study abroad. I regret it so much. Can you give me another chance? I know you never forgot about me all these years. Let's start over." Olivia's voice was cold. Perfectly calm. "Mr. Hayes. Do you need me to call you a doctor? Did you hit your head too hard last night? I'm married. This is harassment." "No. Liv. I mean it. I know you don't love Liam. You two only got married for business. We're the ones who grew up together. We're soulmates. I know you never stopped loving me. And now fate gave us a second chance. You forgot all about these past few years. You're back to how you were when we were together. Divorce Liam. We can get married right away." I leaned against the kitchen counter, straining to listen. I waited for Olivia's answer, chest tight with anxiety. The next second, she pushed open the kitchen door and walked in, all soft and pouty. "Honey, how can you just stand there cooking while some creep is hitting on your wife?" My eyes went wide. Disbelief washed over me. Was this really the ice queen I'd been married to for 3 years? She was actually being cute. Pouting. "Say something," she urged. Still pouting. "Are you even a man? Your wife's getting harassed and you're just ignoring it." That did it. I grabbed the nearest frying pan and stormed out of the kitchen, glaring daggers at Ethan. "Get out. Before I beat your manipulative ass." Ethan jumped, clearly caught off guard. Then he smirked. Triumphant. "You think you won? Liam. She's just using you to make me jealous. You know how much she loved me back then." Olivia cut him off mid-sentence. "Honey. Look. He's still trying to turn us against each other." I glanced at her. Then at Ethan. Confused. Damn it. Was I still just a pawn in their little game? Olivia saw the doubt on my face. She dropped the act. Voice turning cold and sharp again as she faced Ethan. Ethan. We dated once. That's it. It's ancient history. Yeah. I forgot my husband. But that's not an excuse to cheat on him. I married Liam. And I'm not gonna do anything to hurt him or betray him. So give it up. It's never gonna happen. I felt awful then. Those dramas had really rotted my brain. Olivia was better than any of those stupid tropes. Her morals were even sharper than her cheekbones. I realized something right then. Being nice to someone is an act anyone can put on. But goodness. Real decency. That's in your bones. You can't fake that. What matters is a person's core. The morals they live by. That's worth more than any sweet line or grand gesture. Ethan had struck out with Olivia. So he turned his anger on me. Liam. You think you're so clever. Just you wait. I was ready to whack him with the frying pan when Olivia spoke up. Ethan. Did you major in homewrecking abroad? Is that your degree? Pick a new major. This one's gonna get you punched. Ethan's face went dark with rage. He twisted his features into a snarl. Then stormed out and slammed the door for the second time. As soon as he was gone, I burst out laughing. Olivia rolled her eyes at me. Real funny. If I didn't shut him down for good, you'd just sit around overthinking everything. I blinked at her. Surprised. Why do you keep not following the script? What script? The drama script. Liam. If I catch you watching one more of those stupid short dramas, I'm gonna kill you. After a minute, she added. Quieter. I lost my memory. I didn't lose my brain. I crossed my arms. Defensive. But that's how all the dramas go. The CEO lady loses her memory. Runs off with her first love or her childhood sweetheart or some poor college guy or her assistant. Treats her husband like garbage. And then spends the rest of the story groveling to get him back. Olivia stared at me like I'd grown a second head. That's because you watch garbage. When do you ever meet a real CEO that's stupid? That reckless and blind? If she was that dumb, do you think she'd ever make it to CEO? Get real. Dummy. Fair. A person doesn't run a whole company by being an idiot who falls for every cheap trick. Those dramas had really rotted my brain. After that, Olivia banned me from watching short dramas. She said they were messing with my head and making me jump to stupid conclusions. So I switched to web novels instead. Man. Those things were even wilder than the dramas. The plots were absolutely unhinged. One night, I was sneaking a read under the covers when she caught me. She picked up my phone and read the line out loud. Late affection is worth less than grass. I stood by him through rock bottom. And he gave all the good life to someone who came along halfway. She was not amused. Liam. Do you have way too much free time on your hands? If you're that bored, maybe we should have a baby to keep you busy. Then she pounced. I caught her in a hurry. Just as she leaned in to kiss me. Olivia, you haven't gotten your memory back yet. Are you sure you won't regret this? She looked at me. Dead serious. I might not remember everything yet. But my body doesn't lie. It doesn't push you away. Not even a little. My chest felt so full I could barely breathe. I cupped her face and kissed her soft and slow. Let me do the work. You save your energy for getting your memory back. Olivia took a few days off to recover. Then threw herself right back into work. She was all business at the office during the day. And just as busy at home at night. I couldn't tell if the whole have a baby thing was serious. Or if she was just making up for lost time. Either way, I didn't have much time for dramas or web novels anymore. Ethan. Of course. Wouldn't take no for an answer. He kept trying little tricks to get her attention. He texted her constantly. Asking her out to dinner. To movies. But Olivia was always in a hurry to get home to our baby-making project. She never had time for him. When he got nowhere with Olivia, he turned his attention to me. He added me on WeChat and started posting nonstop on his moments all old photos and stories from when he and Olivia were together. I knew exactly what he was doing. He wanted me to get jealous. To pick fights with Olivia over it. I didn't care about Olivia's past. I cared if her past wouldn't stay in the past. As long as it was over. As long as she'd never cheated on me or lied to me since we got married. Nothing else mattered. When the posts didn't work, he moved on to taunting me directly. See how happy we were. We loved each other so much. Sure. I texted back. But she's my wife now. You're just a tool. She's using you to make me jealous. Cool. She's my wife now. Don't get cocky. She'll divorce you and come back to me. You'll see. Cool. She's my wife now. Is that all you know how to say? I figure if I say anything else, you'll just cry about it. Ugh. You're unbelievable. Also, she said she wants to have my baby. Last night we went for 28 positions. 7 hours straight. After that, he stopped texting me. Guy just couldn't stop picking fights he couldn't win. I guess my message had stung. Because he laid low for a while. But after a couple of weeks, he came back with a new strategy. Dude was relentless. This time, he went for the tragic self-harm act. That night, Olivia and I were right in the middle of our little calorie-burning session when her phone rang. I saw Ethan's name on the screen and paused, figuring she'd want to answer. Olivia frowned at me, warning in her eyes. Don't stop. She answered the phone and put it on speaker. A stranger's voice came through. Ms. Bennett. This is City General Hospital. A Mr. Hayes was brought in after slitting his wrists. You're listed as his emergency contact. Could you come down to the hospital as soon as possible? Slit his wrists. That bad? Even I froze. Not sure if we should keep going. Olivia swatted my arm. Annoyed. Then she said. Totally casual. Oh. Is he gonna make it? If he is, you don't need to call me. If he's not, call his parents. The doctor on the line sounded flustered. Ms. Bennett. If he listed you as his emergency contact, you must be very close. Surely you should come see him. There may be paperwork you need to sign. Did he slit both wrists? Olivia said. He can sign with the other one. Can't he? That's not Ms. Bennett. He's unconscious. Sorry. But I'm not family. I can't take responsibility if something goes wrong. You need to get in touch with his parents. Look, I get saving lives is important. But I'm kind of in the middle of saving a life too. Same general vibe. You guys handle it. We've got our hands full over here. She hung up immediately. Then she looked at me. Deadpan. Keep going. Yes. Ma'am. After a minute, I said, honey, what if he really did slit his wrists? What if it's bad? Isn't that a little cold? Olivia huffed. Breath coming a little faster. He's faking it. Got some doctor to go along with it. Guy like that would never actually hurt himself. I slowed down. Curious. You know him that well. So all that stuff about him being your great lost love is true. She made an annoyed sound. Can you not stop mid-sentence to ask questions? Multitask. Will you? I mumbled an apology and picked back up. After a minute, she continued. Slower. I know him because we grew up together. I know how he is. He's selfish. Everything's about him. He'd never hurt himself over something as stupid as a breakup. He doesn't have the guts. And as for this great lost loved stuff, that's all garbage. Yeah. We dated. But it was just stupid teenage stuff. The second he chose to leave and study abroad, we were done. Completely. She added. Softer. Ask me whatever else you want to ask. Get it all out now. I don't want you reading more web novels and spiraling again. I thought for a second. What about the suicide thing? People said you tried to kill yourself when you broke up. Olivia actually paused. Confused. She turned to look at me. Me. Kill myself over him. Who told you that? Everyone says that. It's the big rumor. She laughed. Bitter. They got it wrong. I got really drunk after we broke up. That's all. I dropped a wine glass. Tried to clean it up. And sliced my palm open. I was so wasted I didn't even notice how much I was bleeding. By the time the staff found me, there was blood everywhere. They called an ambulance. And I guess people put 2 and 2 together and got 5. It was never about him. Come on. If I'd really been that broken up about him, I would have just followed him abroad. My family's loaded. Studying overseas is nothing. Why on earth would I kill myself over a guy? Fair. Made total sense. Her answer wiped away every last bit of doubt I'd been carrying. Just when we thought Ethan had finally given up, he pulled his cheapest trick yet. Liv, I have leukemia. I need a bone marrow transplant. Same old act. Same cheap tricks. I swear the guy watched just as many short dramas and novels as I did. But it didn't work. Olivia was totally calm. Which ward are you in? I'll send my assistant over with a fruit basket. Ethan sounded stunned. Liv. I don't want your stupid fruit basket. She cut him off. Well, what do you want? I can't donate bone marrow to you. Of course not, he said. Like it was obvious. I'd never ask you to do that. But Liam could. You have to save me. Liv. Please. This time. Olivia was the one who looked stunned. She blinked. Wide-eyed. Ethan. Are you delusional? In your dreams. That night? We stayed up late. Very late. The next day. I woke up well past noon. I grabbed my phone and froze. Had the world ended? I had hundreds of missed calls and texts. Most of them were from my best friend, Ryan. I called him back immediately. He picked up on the first ring. Dude. Where the hell have you been? I've been calling you forever. It's bad if everyone's calling you a homewrecker. I blinked. What? What are you talking about? I was the husband yesterday. I take one nap and suddenly I'm the other guy. Just go look at the trending topics. I can't explain it. Go see for yourself. I hung up and pulled up the news app. Holy crap. My name was in the top 3 trending spots. 1. Bennett Corp CEO Olivia's husband Liam was a total sleaze before marriage. 2. Liam, husband of Bennett Corp CEO, allegedly stole her from her ex. 3. Billionaire heiress Olivia Bennett and Ethan Hayes are the real true love. Every tag was flooded with photos, some real, some heavily edited. The first 2 were full of doctored pictures. The third was stuffed with old photos Ethan had leaked from their teenage years. Worse, all my social media accounts had been doxed. My inbox and DMs were flooded with abuse. Ryan called again right away. Dude. I saw it. Don't worry. I told my PR team to go all in. Fix this for you. No. Don't waste the money. I said immediately. Let's let this play out a little longer. Who knows who'll get hit in the end. I hung up and got ready to call a lawyer. To start gathering evidence. But before I could, Olivia's lawyer called me first. He said he'd already been instructed by Ms. Bennett to collect all the evidence. And they'd be filing suit against Ethan as soon as they were ready. Right after I hung up, Olivia came rushing home. The first thing she said when she saw me was, Honey. You're up? Did you eat breakfast? Yeah, I kinda lost my appetite. Honey. How did I wake up and suddenly I'm the bad guy? Hey. Don't listen to any of it. Stay home and read your novels. Okay. I'll handle everything. He dared to spread lies about my husband. I'm gonna make him regret it. I looked at her standing there in her tailored business suit. Black stockings. Heels. All thoughts of the scandal flew right out of my head. I was very interested. Olivia noticed me staring and walked over. Concerned. She tugged on my arm. I snapped out of it, grinning sheepishly. Honey. You okay? Hey, could you wear that outfit again tonight? She blinked. Then her face went bright red. She swatted my arm. Ugh. Pervert. The story blew up over the next 2 weeks. And all that time, we were building our case. When we had everything we needed. Our lawyer filed a lawsuit against Ethan for defamation, slander, and malicious harassment. In the end, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Ethan couldn't take it. In the courtroom, he screamed at Olivia. Voice raw. Why? Why would you do this? You have amnesia, you forgot everything about Liam. All you remember is us. Our good years. Why are you still on his side? He gripped the table so tight his knuckles went white. Like he'd never let go if she didn't answer. Olivia stared at him. Totally blank. We never had any good years worth remembering. And standing by my husband. That's just what you do when you're married. Olivia. I did all of this for you. Because I love you. How can you treat me like this? For me. Please. You did this for yourself and nobody else. And I don't love you. You slandered my husband. I'd do a lot worse than this to someone who did that. She took my hand and walked out, leaving Ethan screaming and raging behind her. A month later, I got a call from the hospital. Olivia had been in another car accident. I raced to the hospital in a panic. Before I could even step into her room, her attending doctor grabbed my hands with a huge smile. Congratulations. Mr. Carter. I punched him. Twice. Right in the face. I was about to kick him again when Olivia stepped out of the room and stopped me. She had a bandage wrapped around her forehead. Honey. Why did you punch the doctor? I was still furious. What kind of doctor smiles and congratulates someone when their wife's in the hospital? He's lucky I didn't beat him worse. The doctor groaned and scrambled to his feet. Mr. Carter. You misunderstood. The good news is when she hit her head. Her memory came back. And she's pregnant. Of course I was congratulating you. Oh. I froze. Then whirled around to look at Olivia. She smiled and nodded. I turned back to the doctor. Immediately apologetic. I'm so sorry. Doctor. You didn't finish your sentence before I hear. Punch me back. Twice. To make it even. The doctor stared at me. Deadpan. You punched me out of nowhere. How was I supposed to finish? I apologized over and over. And slipped him a generous thank you envelope before he finally calmed down and left. I turned back to Olivia. Grinning like an idiot. But she just raised an eyebrow at me. Real tough guy act you've got there. Stood there doing nothing when some creep was hitting on your wife. But you'll punch a doctor without a second thought. Humph. I laughed. Awkward. Sorry. Sorry. Those dramas really rotted my brain. Okay. Humph. Then something hit me. I froze. Honey, you got your memory back. Does that mean you're gonna go back to being that ice queen you used to be? She scoffed. Would you want me to? No. God. No. She blinked. Surprised. You don't. But I thought you liked the cold, distant type. I stared at her. Shocked. Who told you that? Wait, did you act like that because you thought that's what I wanted? We looked at each other. And suddenly everything clicked. We'd both been wrong about each other this whole time. We'd both loved each other. All along. The lesson was clear: don't let silence build walls between you. Talk to each other. That's how you fix what's broken. After that, I never had time for short dramas or web novels ever again. I was too busy being a dad. Ha ha ha. Hey there. Could you rate this story in the comments? Use a scale of 1 to 10. Please, I am begging you. It really means a lot to me. And if you like this kind of content, don't forget to hit follow.